Summertime is over, so let's head down to the court. Time for the tip-off. Give me fast breaks on the attack. Will you shoot a three or take it to the rack? Basketball is back, Jack. It's a dream shake down in the post, or a killer cross you love the most. When the offense tries to run and gun, is it man-to-man or box and one? It's big plays and talking smack. That's how you know that basketball is back, Jack. Let me hear you say basketball, basketball, basketball. Basketball is back, Jack. 360 dunks and pick and roll. And we're gonna watch it every day till they raise the Larry O. Hard fouls and hook shots, a dagger three and hack a shack. If you say this game's the best, I'll say it's a gag. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back, Jack. Basketball is back. Basketball is back, Jack.
All right, not the like. There's a lot of pressure on Daddy-O sitting in the main chair. That being Jeremy today. A lot of pressure. You are in the main seat. You are keeping the show running. And look, not to rattle you a little bit today, because we're going to have fun. It is Friday. The weekend's almost here. But, I mean, the show starts at 9, Jeremy. Like, come on. We're already late.
This is ridiculous.
Come on, we just got a laid-back, cool Daddy-O mentality today. All right, if things run late, they run late.
Now, don't screw it up today. This is a very big day for you. All right, you are in the chair with all the controls. What is the anxiety level? I hear you got here very early this morning.
I did. Got here early, took the early train just to make sure everybody was relaxed. Because as you can tell by my sunglasses, I'm not hiding fear. I'm just super, super chill.
Are there sunglasses for your voice? I hear a trembling.
I plead the fifth.
I've had 3 different people reach out to me, pull me aside, and say, "Hey, Jeremy's a little nervous about today. Be there and support him." And then,
I don't know who's telling you that because that's simply not true.
Yeah,
His name's on the streets.
Yeah, people are worried about Jeremy, which is actually interesting because he's actually well liked. Outside of his reputation here on the show, people really like Jeremy, so it's actually cute to see. Just because you put on sunglasses, though, doesn't mean like you're going to be in control here. But
cute feels a little patronizing.
I am a firm believer in look good, play good.
So today is a Friday. Things may look a little bit different to you because you will also notice Tony is sitting up front. Tony, no turning around. Do not.
I'm
Tony,
in the voice seat, and I can only look forward. I can't look back.
Straight forward. You
Dave
do not
Dameshek's
turn
ugly
around.
mug.
That's right. You are looking straight ahead. That's your nope.
But I can't.
Don't turn.
But what if I need to talk
Nope.
to you?
Nope. Straight ahead. Let's say hello to Dave Dameshek, who is out on the West Coast. Hello, Dave.
Yo, what's happening? It's a pleasure to see most of you. Jeremy is masking his emotions. I am in El Segundo, California right now in a production facility. And as nice as the digs are there where you guys sit, these might be even nicer, at least in this regard. Here's the good about the facility where I am. They have a literal shower here. A shower in your place of business. How luxurious. The bad, speaking of masking stuff, is in the bathroom. I was just in there making number one. I wanted to be able to focus in. And I noticed that they have a citrus-scented spray bottle. I feel that masking, that attempt to mask malodorous stuff is, we have to, as a society, advance the ball here a little bit. Because whatever we're doing ain't working. And it, in fact, worsens the situation. How say you?
You know what? I'm gonna spend a little bit of time thinking about it. I didn't know that question was going to be posed to me this morning. I will get back to that, Dave.
Are you pro bad smell?
No, I'm not. No, of course not.
That's
I
not
think
really
the
an
worst
yes.
smell, the nauseating smell is the worst, the number 2, plus lemon scent. That makes me want to throw up.
Got it.
I mean, the other one ain't good either, but.
Let's also say hello to Trista, who we did not. Tony, you don't turn around.
I can't see Trista too.
You look straight forward. That's your seat today. All right. But let's say hello to Trista, as we did not expect her to be here with us today. Her stay was only supposed to be for Monday through Thursday. She is here with us today. What happened to you last night?
So I get to the airport. I'm thinking everything's good. We literally see people come off the plane. I'm like, all right, we're happening. This is happening. Talk to the gate agent. They're like, we're about to start pre-board because, this is the trick. You have your service animal, you pre-board with the people who are, the olds and the youngs.
Do you put a vest on that dude right there?
I can't find a service animal vest this small, but he is doing servicey things. And then all of a sudden I hear a bang. And I'm like, what was that? That wasn't good. And then all of a sudden the flight's canceled. And I find out that the luggage mover crashes into the plane. That's what that bang was. And gets underneath the plane and breaks off an antenna. And they said, well, we're going to try to, see if American Airlines will, lend us a part.
Well, you got any spare parts, American Airlines?
Hey, we'll give you one if you ever have any problems in Portland. And I was like, oh, that's not really good at all. And I called up Kristen, whose birthday it is today, so happy birthday to Kristen. She said, why don't you just come on the show tomorrow? I said, sounds good to me.
So, Buddy who crashes into the plane and causes everyone's night to be ruined and obviously cost the airline money, that guy's getting canned, right? That's a pretty big mistake.
He's fired. That guy's definitely fired.
You would think so, right?
I asked the guy in the luggage area, I said, how often does this happen? He goes, in the 2 years I've been here, not one time.
Now, this is not...
Happy birthday to
Her.
I don't care. Good luck.
Little
All
late.
right. We said it was her birthday
Bad timing.
Rubbed exactly
Got
right.
to it, though.
Come on, man.
Happy birthday, Kristen.
Now, Trista, this is not the first time that you have dealt with an issue on the flight home from one of your appearances here, right?
No, the last time I came here, I had a layover in Minneapolis, and I get on the plane with the olds, and I see that there's a couple who is adamant about sitting together. It's a very sad story, so just get ready for it. Brace yourself. And they do end up sitting together. I'm watching my iPad when we are leaving from Minneapolis to Portland. We're midair. And they're doing full-on resuscitation of the man who got onto the plane. He didn't make it.
The couple who wanted to sit together.
Yes, the man with the oxygen tank didn't make it.
All right.
Died right in front of my right foot.
That's way worse than the story about the poop covering smell. That's way worse.
It is, yeah. That's why we just slid right past the citrus.
All right. There you go. So NHL trade deadline today, Dave Dameshek, a way of seamlessly transitioning. Dave, are you as pumped as we are about the NHL trade deadline today?
I'm very excited about it, actually. My team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, is kind of in contention, although they've been on a mini little slide here, so it's going to be very interesting to see if they make moves right now. It also strikes me that around trade deadlines and free agency, the newfangled sports fan of the era in which we live is the one who is overly sober. It's cosplaying general manager when they start to concern themselves with the long-term ramifications of giving up a first-round pick. I like this guy in the conversation. Like, whoa. Is he worth a first-rounder, though? I don't know if we want to give up that to get A.J. Brown, if we want to go all in. It could impact the next few years for our franchise. Hey, guess what? Ain't your concern, fan. Go for it right now. By the way, you should always go for it if you're a sports team, but if you're a fan, you should certainly be rooting for that. Where is this newfound sobriety? Who do these people think they are, that their input about conservative approach to managing the roster of their favorite team? Did anybody ask for their input? Just cheer along. I'm not saying you're not allowed to have an opinion, but it's very weird. I think everybody needs to drink more is the bottom line. I think this is a victim of another element of this generation is that kids these days ain't drinking anymore, apparently. Beer sales, wine sales, booze sales, all down, and we're worse for it.
Okay, so I think we could all agree, though, that the person you're talking about here, the fan who is worried about the future ramifications of giving up X for player Y, We're talking about Jeremy, right?
100%.
What are you
1,000%.
talking about?
Oh, stop. You
I'm
love
here
it when we
to
get under a
inform.
tax apron.
Okay.
You're,
Tax aprons are never my thing.
Yes, you love it when Andy Ellisberg makes a deal that saves Mickey Arison money. You love that stuff. And it's not even money against a cap. It's money against a tax. You have the same kind of Miami Heat brain rot that the rest of Twitter has.
That's absolutely untrue because the rest of Miami Heat Twitter is like you in thinking that Bam Adebayo is somehow overrated when he's one of the more underrated players of the NBA.
Really? I'm not that dialed in. I am that much of a tastemaker? They finally came around?
You birthed them, though.
Yeah,
Yes.
you did. You birthed
Yeah,
them.
I
You
am-
took credit for that several years ago.
Yes, and as you know, I am Heat Twitters as.
Well, and Dave, that's what you're talking about, right? When Jeremy shows up the next morning and is like,
My job is to inform.
you can't make this trade because, it would take you over the second apron. You have to stay under
My
this
job is to
ta-"
tell you that.
Like, Jeremy's who you're talking about.
You love
Dave.
the apron.
I don't want to go at Jeremy, but yes, I'm talking about Jeremy. Or anyone else in his shoes who talks this way about, like I say, the sobriety required to you're just a fan and you want to try to win right now, but I am keeping my eye on the prize, which is the long-term ramifications of all this. Listen, let's just go for it here. I think that's what we as fans should be trying to do here, instead of pretending that your tweets or your Instagram posts are somehow going to influence the actual general manager.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on, anything that happens with the NHL trade down, specifically the Florida Panthers, right?
Yes, but to close the loop on Jeremy and others like him, the Miami Heat occupy this strange space where everyone's like, all right, we got to keep our draft stockpile, yet they never have these assets. Yeah. It's like for 10 years we've been talking about, well, okay, we can't go after that guy. The next guy, though, will have enough, and yet they don't have enough. They never have as much as the other team.
You're right to an extent because, yes, that has been the Heat's MO, that maneuverability. That maneuverability and flexibility is the Miami Heat's favorite buzzword when it comes to whether or not they're going to make a move. You got to have maneuverability, you got to have flexibility.
Right, but then there's always someone more flexible and someone that maneuvered better.
Well, yeah, because we saw Giannis maybe became available a few weeks
Enough
ago.
of him, by the
where'd
way.
he get traded?
Enough of him, by the way.
Where'd he get
Don't want to
traded?
hear about that guy.
It
ever
wasn't
again.
the Heat's lack of assets or flexibility. It was the fact that the Bucks were never serious about
It was
trading
a dog
him.
and pony show.
Come on. Well, hold on a second, because for all the talk about maintaining your maneuverability and flexibility, if a player, worth it becomes available, and I think we'd all agree Giannis is that player who would be worth it, the Heat actually did not have enough trade assets because they traded for Terry Rozier 2 seasons ago. Like, I think that's
That was
the
a
point
setup
that
and a scam,
Mike's trying
though.
to make.
that
And
had
they
nothing
would
to do
never
with it.
get off of Bam. Like, if you need to get Giannis, then you need to get rid of Bam. That's the asset that you have to be open to moving.
But if we are going to,
so that you could be the Bucks.
But look,
See?
You don't turn around either.
Look, today, we could talk positively about the Heat because they are now 5 games over 500. I understand.
They beat the Nets twice.
I get it.
Big game tonight.
Hey, Tony, if you're a decent team, you kick the crap out of bad teams.
You're right.
And that's what the Heat did this week. But, Kello Ware. You see Kello Ware last night? What do you have?
Kalal, no.
7 blocks, 5 steals. Are you kidding me? Kello Ware last night. That was your boy.
He was unbelievable. And he set records. There were, last night, the last 4 players with 15-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, 5-plus steals, 5-plus blocks, and 65% from the field in a game. Dwight Howard, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Kello Ware.
Are you sure? That's from StatMuse.
Players with 16-plus points, 11-plus rebounds, 5-plus steals, and 7-plus blocks in a game. Hakeem Olajuwon 4 times. Shaq and Kello Ware last night. He's the first player ever with 10, 10, 5, and 5 off the bench. Ever in the history of the league.
I'm feeling a little nostalgic, remembering all the times we did this with Whiteside.
The difference between what last night was and what we saw from Kello Ware throughout the rest of the regular season
Was the Nets.
It's the Nets, right? But
It
the
has to be
double-doubles-
pointed out. Like, I loved Kello, what he did last night, but it has to be pointed out. I got to be fair.
Yeah, the counting stats are really not what impressed me. Like, what impresses me is the difference in his mindset on defense in terms of communication. Like, you can see it on the floor that they're not a worse team significantly defensively when he's out there. He was always putting up the counting stats, but the impact is different. And you saw it last night. Bam had 5 fouls about halfway through the third quarter, and so they had to play Kalel for a stretch of 12 or 13 straight minutes.
The only player who played more minutes than him last night was Jaime Jackass.
Yeah, he never would have been able to do that earlier in the year. And
Why'd
his
you say
impact
that?
is great.
Why'd you say that like walking?
How should I say it?
Jaime Jackass.
Jaime Jackass. And I don't say junior, by the way. All right, it's too much. It's too much of a mouthful. You know what I'm saying, Dave? Like Jaime Jackass. Why do I have to say Jaime Jackass Jr.? We all know that I'm talking about Jaime Jackass. Like if I don't say the junior part, are people like, are you talking about him or are you talking about his father? Everybody knows I'm talking about Jaime Jackass.
I'm more fascinated, to be honest, by the fact that Zaz is so powerful, so influential in his manner that whether or not you guys all realize it from a distance, you all fall into vague impersonations of Zaz.
I'm very
That is not true.
For a full week.
That is
You
definitely
guys
not
all
true.
start
Whoa,
to
what do you mean?
mimic his speech pattern.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea what you're saying here.
What do you say?
Me? My voice? My cadence? Awesome.
You know, by the way, to go back 4 minutes ago, I'm sorry. I have to say that part of the thing that the NFL has over the other leagues now and why the NBA, I think, has very slightly dipped over the last few years is because people like to get into this pretentious game of like future considerations. If we give this guy up now, we can get a first round or a second round pick, something like that. You know who that is, or at least you can envision what college football player you might get. You don't have that in hockey, in baseball, and now in basketball, because so many of them are European or otherwise. That heightens how pretentious people sound when they start talking about, like, I don't want to give up this power forward because of future considerations. You couldn't name anyone who would be available on planet Earth. You just want the future considerations to have flexibility, as Mike Ryan just described it. I think it's very strange. Now, NHL trade deadline, Bobrovsky may get dealt here today. Where are you guys on that? Are you rooting for him if he does get dealt? Do you hope he proves to be the missing link for whatever team he lands with?
Okay, so like Mike, yesterday, I'm watching the Panthers last night, and by the way, like I think the rest of this season for the Panthers, they lost last night 4-2 at Columbus. I think
Did they get hosed at the end?
Yes, they did. I think the rest of this season's going to get ugly. You know, I think they're really going to bottom out. But I was really proud that they fought back last night. They were down 3-0 in the third period, and they ended up tying the game. Before I answer your question here, Dave, they ended up tying the game at 3 with 5 minutes remaining. And then you have the coach's challenge that there was goaltender interference. And I got to tell you, Mike, for the life of me, It's like what's a catch in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I have no idea.
This is getting to be, you're exactly right, Zaz. Hockey isn't as popular, and that's the only thing that insulates it from being in the conversation for the worst foul in any sport. What is goaltender interference already? Can we settle? I'm sorry to interrupt.
I'm pretty sure, like I can see it when the skater does it on their own, but there's this weird gray area that is super inconsistent that you cannot cite precedent because it swings wildly when another skater, a defender, is pushing the opposing skater into the goalie.
And the goalie made no effort to stop the shot. It was like I had a feeling they were going to take it away last night, but I had no idea, and I shouldn't have no idea what the call is going to be.
It almost feels like an intentional move on Columbus's part.
Yes.
Shove the Florida Panther into the goalie because they're absorbing all this pressure. But to the original point of Sergei Bobrovsky, he's out of contract at the end of the season. Wherever he goes, if he is dealt at this trade deadline, it's likely that he's a loner. And I guess the hope is for Panther fans that have an affinity for Sergei Bobrovsky. I think you could look at this rationally and say he's having a bad year. He's up there in age. He's a two-time champion here. He really turned his legacy around down here because he went from being pretty hated with a regrettable contract to being this 2-time champion, bona fide Hall of Famer, and that number 72
choker. That was his rep.
Yes,
was
always.
Choker.
And now the number 72 is probably going to be hung up in the rafters one day. I still think that you have the outside hope if you're the big Bob fan that he goes to another team, gets hot, you have a rooting interest in the NHL playoffs, and then he's a free agent and he comes back on a team friendly, which is always a possibility.
Never happens.
Well, okay, so I'm glad you mentioned that because I was watching like some clips of hockey shows last night on Twitter, and one of them brought up the idea that the Panthers should trade away Sergei Bobrovsky today, that maybe you can get a first-round pick from him, which I think is crazy, but that you trade him, you get whatever compensation, and then he comes back. It's like it's an unwritten thing. You tell Sergei, hey, we're going to trade you over here, and then we're going to offer you this in the offseason. You're going to come back. Like, why can't they do that, Dave?
Bobby.
Did somebody just provide an actual example of this happening? Because I cannot I cannot recall it off the top of my head. You always hear this conversation, but it never comes true.
You're right
I'm sure
about
there are a couple of exceptions that prove the rule.
You're right about that. This was all the talk from Boston Bruins fans last year. However, Brad Marchand's contract negotiations were well written about, whereas down here it could be the media market like that. No one's really been wondering what's going to happen with Bob. Even though he's going to have his jersey retired by this franchise, no one's wondering about his contract status. I think it's pretty well assumed this is a guy that's at the tail end of his career. He's at a hefty number, and I don't know if this market cares as much to make that a narrative throughout the season. But if the Panthers can get something certainly along the lines of a first-round draft pick, you do it. You jump at the chance. But I do think this season's a little sad in that you never really had a chance in retrospect. And they were in a very difficult conference and a very difficult division. And Barkov, I think in his absence, everyone's even got a more profound appreciation for him. But in a weird twist of fate, had a championship celebration at 11. You got the Olympic gold medal. It's a nice consolation prize for a lull of a year, and hopefully they'll be back next year. I'm pretty sure they will be because this core that this team is built on is still young enough to chase.
Bobby.
You're right about not really ever having a chance because, it seemed like they were putting something together right before the Winter Classic. Like, I remember having conversations, they're back, and they're going to get Barkov back too. And then Seth Jones got hurt, and it all fell apart. I hope. Now, he does have a 16-team no-trade clause. So half the league, more than half the league, Bobrovsky cannot be traded to without his approval. I hope they don't wind up moving him today. I really don't see that there's another team out there. Like, he wouldn't be a starter for a team that's trying to make a Stanley Cup push, because if you're a team trying to make a Stanley Cup push, you presumably have a goaltender this year who's been much better than Sergei Bobrovsky.
Zaz, he would be in Edmonton, and in fact, he could prove the missing piece if he finds
That'd be crazy,
his game,
right?
Well, what I'm interested in is, again, are you rooting for his success if he does get dealt away because he delivered 2 Stanley Cups?
Depends where he goes.
Literally, I think you can make a exactly what I was about to ask you then. LeBron, are you rooting for his success with the Lakers?
Question.
Do you like him? Well, Bobrovsky feels like he came to you a little fraught. We don't know who this guy is. And the next thing you know, you have a couple of Stanley Cups. LeBron shows up, if you didn't hear, and he said not 1, not 2, all the rest of it. And it was probably, I've never asked any of you guys, are you ultimately satisfied with the LeBron era when he was a Heat? And I don't want to have the conversation again. Was he a Heat player? Is he a hot? Or is he one of the Heats? Whatever he was. If you're satisfied with that, it feels to me from a distance like you probably are vaguely unsatisfied with the way everything wound up. But either way, now he's in LA. Do you think, hey, Heat legend, let's hope he continues to burnish his legacy in honor on some level of our Miami Heats?
Mike, I'm completely satisfied with the way things went with LeBron here, no?
Yeah, the only real issue that I have with it was that he insisted on being traded so the Miami Heat could give him more money on an option that he ended up turning his back on.
Right, we were still paying that move off with draft picks when he was playing for Cleveland.
Right, Miami is in this position in which they never have enough flexibility or maneuverability as much as the next team because they traded for Chris Bosh. They traded for LeBron James because those guys wanted extra years they ended up opting out of. And in LeBron's case, Cleveland rebuilt themselves into an attractive destination for him.
And we're still paying off the debt.
On the heels of his initial, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach. So that's what I didn't like. And by the way, the league has learned from that. No one does that shit anymore.
To answer your question, though, Dave, with Bobrovsky, would I cheer for him if he winds up getting traded to a cup contender this year? It very much depends on where he goes. Like, I think the best example is Dwayne Wade. We all love Dwayne Wade. Love Dwayne Wade. And when Dwayne Wade went and signed with the Chicago Bulls, you think I was rooting for the Chicago Bulls? No.
Well,
no.
I don't even remember that. I'm pretty sure it never happened.
No. To me, it's about the team, all right? Even if the player is beloved, he's not playing for my team anymore. I don't then root for another team.
Yeah, but look, when you look at the Florida Panthers' chief rivals, the only team that could possibly be in play, because they're all pretty settled at goalie, is the Edmonton Oilers, and they're in the West. And that's kind of a nice little bit of banter for Florida Panthers fans. You only won the Stanley Cup because we didn't make the playoffs, and you had to get our goalie to do it.
Right, Dave. Like, that would be a fun angle where it's like, hey, you know what? You don't even have to beat us because we're not good enough this year to be in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So you know what? You can only win with our help. There's a little something to that, I think.
Well, even better. What if it goes, let's say this. Bob goes to the Edmonton Oilers. At this point, it feels improbable, but let's say they wind up in the final and they catch the Carolina Canes. Boy, that would be sweet for you guys, right?
Ooh, wait, Carolina.
I would root hard for Edmonton.
If I'm Carolina, I kick the tires on old Bob because their goalie situation, when you get in the playoffs, it's always unsettled over there. They're always trying something new. Carolina's probably more likely because Edmonton's in like cap hell. They've already acquired a goalie
Shame
this year.
the devil, Mike Ryan. You don't want that. And I would trust whether you're being. See, now you've gone too far in the fan direction, and now you're advocating for that. Or wait, you're not being enough of a fan. You can't trade him to someone. You can't trade him to Carolina.
No, you can't. No,
That's
you
your
can't.
Number one rival, unless Tampa is.
No, I'm with you. I don't think the Panthers entertain that either because I don't think they like Carolina. But if you're the Carolina Hurricanes, look, that front office has been very aggressive. I wouldn't put it past them to consider upgrading at that position. But when we're playing out these scenarios, I don't think he's going to get moved. I think his contract's going to expire.
Whoa. It is the NHL trade deadline. What's going on?
The NHL trade deadline, guys. It never stops. The Colorado Avalanche traded a first and a fifth-round pick to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Nick Roy.
I don't think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, is this Nick Roy or Nick Wah?
It says Roy, so I don't know.
This might be a Wah.
Roy.
By the way.
Uh-oh. Right back at you, Tony. It's time. Here we go. It's time to play NHL Player Prescription Drug, everybody. Let's get it going. Tony, you may have noticed, as you just experienced, in fact, as it came off your lips, that some names are confusing in the NHL because some of them are Scandinavian, some of them are, from various corners of Europe. And then the names of a lot of prescription drugs these days are very fancy, too fancy, in fact. So let's see if you can identify correctly here.
Hit me, Dave. Let's go.
Rinvoq.
I'll stop you right there. I know Rinvoq. It's a prescription. You got to give me a better one than that.
No, but
you gotta let
everybody
him do
following
the bit.
along. What's the matter with you?
And I'm pretty sure
What
there's
a
music
creep.
usually with
What
this
a
segment.
creep.
Jeremy.
It's Jeremy's fault, really. He threw me
There's
off.
usually music.
I'm working on it.
But yeah, tell me the way you play the
Jeremy's
game.
fault. You're the one who
Me?
you're the one who just decided
the music.
to
No, the
announce
music.
answer
If the
before
music's
I
supposed to
finished
go,
it.
and then I'm supposed to talk.
Here's a question. I saw Tony milling around in there just before we got going here. Tony is tall, and he's one of those people who every time I see him, I'm struck by it. I'm like, oh, yeah, Tony's tall every time I'm in his company. And then I saw him walking around. I was like, oh, yeah, Tony is still tall down there. Is Tony, because I know he thinks he's good at football, is Tony good at basketball, or does Tony merely think he's good at basketball?
Today, we have to say he's bad because he was on my team and was throwing something as simple as a flip-flop into a garbage can and failed miserably. I'm sorry, Tony. I can't get over it.
From one hooper to another. Wow, I feel
I'm really sorry.
Disgraced by that because I saw your jumper and I thought it was a little bit flat.
It went in.
It went in, but I want to see the height on that. Was that official 10 feet, or was that a little bit lower?
That was official.
Dave, me and you should play one-on-one, and then we can have that answer.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. Oh, you're going to beat a pot-bellied old man.
That's exactly right.
Basketball?
Exactly
Terrific.
right.
It's good music.
Congratulations.
Dave, you hear the hockey player or prescription tune playing, right?
Does he? It's a little low.
I do hear it. Trista, let's do it. You're up next here.
All right, and learn from Tony's mistake. Let Dave do the whole spiel.
Yes, by the way, I was going to say check icon Ilka Rinvoq or rheumatoid arthritis treatment Rinvoq. Tony already
Medication.
revealed that it is an RX. Here we go, Trista. Parayko. Blues defenseman with a no-trade clause, Colton Parayko, or Peyronie's disease treatment, Parayko.
I'm going to go Blues player.
Very nice. Blues defenseman who got traded yesterday. They went through the whole thing. They make the deal. They get the terms just so. And then, and only then, does management go to Colton Parayko and say, hey, we just traded you. Are you going to waive your no-trade clause? And he said, nope. And they said, well, then the trade's off. What are we doing? What are we making trades without even he has a no-trade clause. Isn't that the first thing you do before you start bothering, just to save yourself the time?
What gave it away was just too much hockey detail. The no-trade clause, I was like, there's just no way this can be.
I would have thought it was the Peronies.
Yeah.
I was helping you out.
I do love, like Dave mentions there, that he was traded, and then they negotiated the deal, and then they go to the player who has a no movement clause, and he says, nah, not trying to go to Buffalo, okay? Like, when Buffalo works so hard and they negotiate the deal and they come to an agreement, and then the team comes back and says, yeah, he said nah. Like, that's got to be so deflating and especially because Buffalo's a really good team this year. It's like so insulting for that team, is it not?
How about Tua? We'll take two off your hands, Miami Dolphins, if you also give us your first-round pick.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Like,
that's pretty humiliating for Tua and for the Dolphins who paid him all that money. We'll take him off your hands. You got to give us something worthwhile too.
Isn't that amazing though? Like, okay, so the Dolphins gave to, because I saw that yesterday also. Who knows if it's true? People are making stuff up. But 2 years ago, Tua's out there. Show me the money. Look like a total asshole. But they give him the contract 2 years ago. And now we will trade for this player, but you have to give us a first-round pick.
What is happening there? We've never seen anything like this. What happened to Tua?
He and John Fetterman. Something happened about 18 or 24 months ago, and they fundamentally changed. Tua was this mild-mannered cat, and then all of a sudden he gets bonked on the head one too many times, and he just cannot do anything other than act like he has Wonder Woman's truth lasso around him and just shoot his mouth off like, yeah, it'd be dope not to be anywhere but here in Miami.
Yeah, Dan is always puzzled by what happened to Tua. I'm like, I've seen him like with fencing fingers, like laying on a turf in a prone position, like multiple times now.
I'm telling you, the thing that's confusing to people is the age, because the thing that's if Tua were 5 years old, you'd be like, all right,
let's
he's
stop
worn
it.
out.
Let's stop this. Like, he's not even like the most confusing quarterback in the market. Like Kyler Murray, to me, is more confusing because it looked like they nailed it. He looked incredible his rookie season. They blew out Josh Rosen. Kyler Murray looked electric, and we're like, man, he's overcoming the height deficiencies. He's incredible, and it's not like I know he's been hurt some. But with Tua, I know where to go to. With Kyler, it's just like, man, league figured you out in record time.
Quick reminder, by the way, when Kingsbury got that job and they had the number 1 overall pick and they decided we're going to move Josh Rosen because we're going to draft Kyler Murray, they traded him, of course, to the Dolphins. Do you remember, Trista, what the Dolphins gave up for Josh Rosen?
I don't remember, Zaz.
I remember.
What was it?
Anyone want to offer up what
Fifth
the Dolphins
rounder?
gave? Okay. Anyone want to offer up what the Dolphins gave up for him?
I'm sure there were a lot of people.
I
that
don't
were worried,
remember.
Worried about the long-term ramifications of it.
Yeah, that's right. Chris Greer gave the Cardinals a second-round pick for Josh
Yuck.
Rosen.
That's
Oh,
disgusting.
my goodness.
That's actually a win
Sweet
for the
Jesus.
Jeremys.
I still believe in Josh Rosen.
Mike Ryan, to your point about Kyler and, see what you want to see there kind of effect and the egos of offensive coordinators and head coaches and franchises at large. Like, we can turn this guy around, except for, which seems foolish, except we just saw Sam Darnold do that. New situation, completely different player. Is there a QB that you see that might be, if you just change his situation, Tony weigh in too, or everybody, is there a guy who you could see 1 year from now being like, told you so, see? Just so he had to get out of that bum situation.
Yeah, well, you cited Sam Darnold. Whoa.
Oh, the NHL news, it's always on. The Utah Mammoths have acquired Mackenzie Weegar.
It's Uyghur.
What?
Okay.
And it's
Uyghur,
Mammoth.
and it's Mammoths.
I think Uyghur is something
He knows what he did.
From the Calgary Flames in exchange for Ali Mata and Jonathan Castagna and 3 second-round picks in this year's draft.
I hate Mackenzie Weegar.
That happened
me too.
yesterday.
Yeah, he's just a blight on the franchise. Just a terrible human being. I felt bad for him. Remember when he even shaved his head? He's like, my hair is the problem. That's why I gave that puck away.
Yep.
Terrible.
I was lying in bed that game 2 against Tampa with COVID. I had the vid, and that's what Mackenzie Weegar did while I was suffering with the vid.
He was a Panther?
Yeah, he was in the Matthew Tkachuk trade.
Is it Castagna? Are we just rolling with that?
I don't think it is. I don't.
What is it? Can you guys tell me?
Is it Castagna?
I think it's Costanza.
I think that Kyler Murray is probably the most interesting prospect. And you could also look at some of the backups. I know Bajent is somebody that interests people because Ben Johnson seems to really like him. And you don't have proof that he stinks, right? So I can see people talking themselves into that upside. But I think Kyler Murray, for example, some of the things that I see on the internet is man, Minnesota should go for him because you mentioned Sam Darnold, head coach over there. Built that career back up. Why can't he do that with Kyler? And he has the weapons downfield. That'd be pretty fun. That'd be a really fun team. Kyler throwing to Jefferson.
So we spent all of the
I
last
think
couple of days talking about the Charlotte Hornets, but we're not going to do that when they're squaring off against the Heat. I just want to get that right here in the local hour.
Stugotz and Greg Cody. I'll tell a story if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
When I first took the first edible I ever took was in New York, and at the time I was breaking the law. Okay, so now you can feel good about telling your story. And the guy told me, "Hey, just eat half of this." And so I ate half, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited,
and I didn't feel anything. And he begged me just to eat half. And he did say on the front end it might take a while. But I was impatient.
Right.
Because when you smoke marijuana, you get instant gratification. And waiting an hour or two for something to kick in was not something I was familiar with.
Right.
So I ate another half, which became a full cookie. And 60 minutes later, I don't remember anything. I woke up the next morning on the floor in my wife's uncle's apartment because Abby had to throw me into a cab with her, and she took me home. And I was curled up in the fetal position, and I don't remember a thing after the second half of that cookie.
Wow.
This was last Wednesday. So, with that being said, feel free to share your story of you having 4 cookies in Colorado.
Yeah, I wolfed them down. It was 3 or 4. I didn't know
3
how.
or 4?
Yeah,
You don't ask?
Down.
You don't
Well-
say, hey, person I'm purchasing this from, how fast should I do these?
The guy at the thing, and it was one of those official things where they dress like pharmacists in there, and they sold me a vial of edible cookies, and it was in Colorado, so it's 100% legal. And my wife and I are getting ready to go to dinner. We popped open the thing. She had a nibble of one, and I ate, I think, probably 2 or 3, and it hit me by the time we got to that restaurant.
I just love how terrified you are of this conversation. You keep throwing in there like it's perfectly legal what I did.
To be fair to Greg, this has not exactly been, the most up and up thing to talk about for 60 years of his life.
Right, exactly.
This is a fairly recent phenomenon. We just go, oh yeah, everything's fine now.
No, and I don't, we did that because we were vacationing in Colorado, and I wanted to
Stop giving qualifiers.
I have to give a qualifier.
Greg, more qualifiers.
It feels better when you're doing it legally. It
Right,
does.
I don't smoke anymore. I mean, I don't do that.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings! The crown is yours.
Wow, I think you're so cute, huh? In your glasses.
I do. I was already called cute today.
All right, very good. Mike, what's coming up with Pablo today? Pablo's got a lot going on, yeah?
So Pablo, as you know, has made news around the world over his Kawhi investigations. And today, live from MIT Sloan, which Pablo's got to be a rock star there, he's going to be doing a live edition of Pablo Torre Finds Out. I've been told that this one is going to be a spicy meatball. So,
is he going to reveal something in front of a live audience?
In front of a live audience, and he's going to reveal something in front of Amin and David Sampson for the first time. You're going to get a live reaction show today at 5:30. It is streaming on the Le Batard Show YouTube page. If you're watching us right now on YouTube, that is youtube.com/@LeBatardShow. And it's also streaming live on Pablo Torre Finds Out YouTube. So that'll be live. That'll be today. And since it's in front of a live MIT Sloan audience, I assume you're going to hear gasp. Yeah, you're going to hear people going,
Thank you to the Academy.
Is there anything more gutless than after this NBA season ends is when Adam Silver is then going to lay down whatever punishment on Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers? That just coincidentally, the season's over, and now we could do the punishment.
Another interesting layer to this edition of Pablo Torre Finds Out is I've been told Adam Silver is also at MIT Sloan.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm not running.
That's awesome. That's a spicy meatball.
Who making the salad?
And it's before
You know
Adam
what you
Silver
should do?
speaks, yes?
You should lay out for Trissa, Dave.
I'm sorry, Dave.
I'm going to write that one down.
I'm sorry.
We'll
I,
cover it in
did, I
post.
didn't see now. Well, Tony's a little late there. He's all over
A little
the place
late.
this morning.
I got to keep my eyes in 2 places. I'm not a chameleon.
No, you don't. You have to look forward. You don't get to turn
Exactly
around
right. I
today.
can't even
We
look
can all
over.
agree it's Jeremy's fault.
Yep.
Go ahead, Trista.
I just wanted to say one way or the other.
Let's go ahead,
What
Trista.
you should do is
Trista.
listen to the Football
Fade him down.
America free agency primer with J.D. Bunkus, Carmen.
All right, Trista, go ahead. I'm sorry. He's
Anyway,
never going to shut up.
has Adam Silver spoken at MIT yet? Is this a setup for Adam to have to respond?
I think Adam has a morning
important detail.
a morning speaking engagement, and then one, I think, later in the evening. So I do think Adam Silver is going to be hanging around. But trust me, this word's going to get back to him. I assure you that, because this one, like I said, it promises to be explosive.
It feels like Pablo loves a good symposium.
He does. I can verify
Like
that.
synonymous, right? When you think of Pablo Torre, I think of symposium.
You
of
have
some
no
sort.
idea. Like, I've had the
Dave,
pleasure.
you got me on that one?
I've had the pleasure of going to an MIT Sloan before. And they're actually, like, if you like analytics, it's a little dorky, but it's fun, right? And someone like Pablo, I guarantee you, he is a total rock star. Like, have you been to MIT Sloan?
I haven't yet. I want to go.
So MIT Sloan is basically like, oh my God, that's Bob Fulgaris. Don't look at him. Like, that's exactly what MIT Sloan. Oh my God, that's R.C. Buford. Jesus Christ. Why did I wear this shirt around R.C. Buford? So I think Pablo is definitely. No, I'm telling
you see those clear frames?
Zaz, sounds like a dork fest, right?
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh my God,
Do you think that's why?
I don't know that
Nate
I've
Silver.
ever been to a
Jesus.
proper symposium.
Ethan Strauss.
Tashay's the sort of sports fan. He would go to a sports fan symposium to learn up on cap implications and such.
That's right.
Oh
I
my
would.
God. Is that true, Unga?
Symposium.
Do you think that's why Pablo is comfortable abandoning his family?
Happy 6th birthday to my daughter, Violet.
It's Tom Haberstroh.
I got to tell you, like, if you're a journalist and if you're breaking stories, especially serious stories, breaking news like Pablo is, you gotta have some guts, I suppose, you know. But to me, like, if he's gonna say things either directed toward Adam Silver or in Adam Silver's like stratosphere, that being the NBA, and Adam Silver is there, that takes some guts, if you ask me.
Oh my God, Keith Law.
Keith Smith.
So anyway, what time is that again today? 5:30, you said?
5:30 live on this YouTube page. So if you subscribe to either us or Pablo, why don't you subscribe to both? You'll get an alert once that goes live, and I promise you, this one's going to be very interesting. You keep asking, how much more could he possibly have on this aspiration deal? He saved a pretty good nugget here for you guys and for the live audience over at MIT Sloan.
Okay, all right.
Mike Ryan at a symposium. Look, it's Nosferatu. No, that's just Adam Silver.
Come on. You like that one?
I do like that one.
That was a look.
He's a nothing. Tell him he's a nothing.
That was low-hanging fruit there.
Sometimes low-hanging fruit's delicious.
Zaz doesn't know all of the other key people in analytics, Mike, to laugh at all of your deep cuts. He only knows
Right.
the top of the top.
Drew Unga was deep.
It was.
Is he still doing it? I'm not even sure Drew's still doing it.
So last night was a big night in the NBA. All right. Well, we can get to the feature game, which is the Spurs and Pistons from last night. The Spurs sweep the season series, and it feels like the Spurs are going to win the championship. We'll get back to that. But the Lakers lost to the Nuggets last night. Did you see what happened in this Laker game, Trista?
Well, I saw that LeBron James injured his elbow.
Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. So LeBron last night, Nuggets won 120-113. LeBron, he had 16 points, 8 assists, average kind of game. He was 7 of 11 from the floor. It's not like he was bad, you know. But LeBron last night, there's a play. It's with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It's a 4-point game. LeBron drives to the basket, makes a difficult layup going up against Nikola Jokic, and proceeds to fall to the ground. And if you look at the replay, I don't think Jokic even touched him, all right? At most, their bodies grazed. At most. And LeBron falls to the ground in a heap and is writhing in pain, shouting, "My elbow! My elbow!"
Did he just say my elbow, or was there any other
He
expletives
said
in there?
F word, my elbow, he's in. I mean, you would think he's gonna have to retire from the pain that is taking place right now. Mike, they show the replay of this.
He's going to have to retire?
Mike, they show the replay of this. Not only am I not sure that Jokic touched him, but he doesn't even know which elbow he hurt. First, he's grabbing his right elbow. And then he's grabbing his left because he realizes when he grabs the right elbow, he's got the sleeve on. So, like, that's a protective sleeve. And then he grabs the left one, which is sleeveless, all right? So it's exposed. But you see in the replay, his elbow never even touches the ground. Matter of fact, Trista, his arm lands on the leg of a cameraman. He never even hits the ground with his elbow. And he can't get up. He cannot stand. Because everybody knows when you hurt your elbow, your legs don't work.
I think he actually hurt himself. How often does he scream and writhe out in pain, Zach?
You can't be serious. I mean, you're just not a serious person right now.
Some are saying Nikola Jokic is a dirty player. Yeah, I saw it online.
I don't know. Maybe
you saw it online.
Was it Markieff Morris?
Hey, you keep your eyes forward, pal.
Sorry. Was it Lou Dort?
Do not look back at me.
Did Lou Dort say that?
I mean, maybe it comes from because we've been so, like, involved in hockey over the last few years, and we know how tough these guys are. But Dave, how can anyone take serious? LeBron hurt, let's say he hurt his elbow, which we all know he didn't. But let's say he hurt his elbow. Why can't he stand? Why does that mean he has to lie on the ground?
It's because the climate now allows for this. It started with soccer, and we all laughed at it for at least a couple of decades. And over the last, let's say, I don't know, decade, I guess since Tom Brady hurt his knee, NFL QBs now do this sort of thing where we all have to, and now the fans are in on it too. When you're at a football game, the reaction from the home crowd now requires when the quarterback gets hit, and you can tell he didn't really get hit hard, all now the tens of thousands of home fans now have to pretend they're a part of the bit now. We're like, oh, come on, ref, throw the flag. That was clearly a late hit. And now it's reach basketball. It ain't good. It ain't good for anybody. I'm with you, Zaz. Clearly, LeBron was faking it, but that's the world we live in.
Zaz, let's be honest. You yourself.
I'm always honest.
You yourself cannot get your ass off of the floor if you're laying down without pushing your elbow down to the ground. Can you use your core strength to get up on your own and stand without using an arm?
Yes, but there's then
I want to see it.
There's then a point
do
where
it right now.
His teammates come over to him to
They
pick him
can't
up.
pull him up. The elbow hurts when you pull it up.
They're trying to pull him up from his right arm. The first hurt
Both
elbow.
arms got hurt. You just established that.
He's like, oh, my elbow. I can't get up.
The thing that intrigues me about NBA guys, when they wear the compression stuff, but only on one leg, what gives there? Let's talk to the high-end athletes in there. Tony, tell us about why do your fellow high-end athletes sometimes wear a compression thing only on the one leg? Doesn't that throw them off?
A 4-letter word called swag, Dave. You got one. You don't need two. You got one. You pick your favorite one. You like that? You like the compression shorts? You like the ones that go all the way down? You like the tights? Or do you like the mid ones to the calf? Or do you like the ones that are short? It's all swag preference. You'd know that.
Okay, I'll buy that. That's what I always have suspected, that it had no actual...
It does absolutely nothing.
No athletic advantage.
Zero,
Okay.
nothing.
All right, that's what I thought.
They are such a tough watch, though, that Laker team. So Luka Doncic then yesterday, he picked up his 15th technical foul of the season, which means the next technical foul, he will be suspended for a game, and then every other technical foul for the remainder of the game is another suspension. So Luka's going to miss some games over the rest of the way here.
And people are upset at him Dwayne wading. I saw this on ESPN.
What does that
Tim
mean?
McMahon. Luka is hurting this team by not getting back on defense and complaining on the other end.
Remember, that was a thing with us and Wade for
Dude,
the last
that
few
was-
years.
that's-
You're right.
Yeah, that was always the D Wade.
You're
move.
right.
But at least D Wade, like once he was on the ball, was a pretty solid
Right.
defender.
Right.
Was great at blocking shots. Was great at chasing screens. And ultimately, when he was dialed in, was a good defender. We're never going to get there with Luka. So on top of that, he's not showing effort and he's complaining about calls. But I do think it usually works for a superstar like Luka to be doing that. That's part of the game. That's part of why they're so good. That's part of why they get the calls. They ride the refs the whole game.
Luka felt that he was being treated unfairly.
I think so, too.
He believes you, again, you are not a serious person. Luka believes he was being treated unfairly last night. Here he is trying to explain what happened with the technical foul.
What was the feedback from the referees during that play? And did they explain why they teed you up in that moment?
Yeah, just because I yelled it, I guess that's what he said. But I heard 3 other players saying the exact same sentence and they didn't get attacked. And that's my problem, I was trying not to talk at all. It's the first thing I said, no warning or nothing. But I heard 3 other players saying the exact same thing and nothing. So it's just, no, I don't know what to say.
Obviously, this is 15, but in previous seasons you've gotten 15 and not gotten the 1-game suspension that comes with 16. I guess what for you needs to happen just to avoid that, or avoid it, like you've done in previous seasons?
Don't get another tech.
Are you committing that you won't?
We'll see. Can't predict the future.
No, I could predict the future. He will pick up more technical fouls. They have 20 games left in the season. He's going to wind up getting suspended. But, that explanation's rich to me because someone else said the exact same thing that I did, and they didn't get a technical foul. So, Luka, do you want to be treated the same as everyone else? Because that'll be an interesting world if you want to be treated the exact same as every player.
That's basically what Jeremy was trying to say yesterday about me. He was like, Tristan gets the correct Dan. How come I don't get the correct Dan?
She's Luka. What are you?
I mean, probably Lou Dort.
No one gets the correct Dan.
Lakers.
I feel bad for Larry Bird catching strays. When Luka's name comes up, I'm surprised Mike Ryan somehow avoided doing it. We're like, well, that's just the way superstars are. Sometimes they don't play defense. He keeps Larry Bird because he was a taller, high-scoring white guy. That's enough for people to just go yep, he's this generation's Larry Bird. Larry Bird was a fine defender. He wasn't locked down, shut him down whenever he wanted to, but he wasn't Luka who straight up doesn't try. That's who my shout out goes to this morning. Larry Bird.
I don't think anyone ever compares Luka to Larry Bird. I think they compare him a lot more to James Harden.
I'd like to correct myself. I think I'm more of a Gabe
fair.
Vincent.
Younger people.
Jeremy, I'm right. I'm writing that down.
Oh,
Jeremy, no.
You did not hold up the no.
To you, yes.
Yeah, but you could have held it up there.
That's
I
right.
said
It's just so
specifically I was
tricky.
going to.
Why are you talking like Zaz right now?
It's a lemon-scented bathroom.
Oh, very
Wrote
influential.
that down too.
So also last night, the San Antonio Spurs, Trista, they beat the Detroit Pistons. They sweep the season series from Detroit.
All right, so as you know, I hopped into the association this week, and the games have been interesting.
Now, when you say hopped in, did you order the league pass?
No, like Dave established last week that, the NBA is a perfect sport to just hop in. I don't need to pay attention until after the Super Bowl. I jumped on aboard a moving train. I know all the storylines. I know all the teams that are good.
The players don't pay attention. Why would we?
Exactly. So, the one team that I was really interested in watching this week was, I got to see these Detroit Pistons that everybody tells me about. Bad week to watch the Pistons. I don't actually think they're good because I've just watched them
They're
this
not
week.
good.
They're not a good team. Bad team. Hornets way better.
Facts. Yes, exactly. You're right on schedule. Yes. I have been going up against these Pistons and Cade Cunningham all year. Especially now we have a little controversy about the 65-game rule and the MVP, and will Shea get it? Can Jokic get it? And we're just going to gift it to Cade because he's eligible and he's the best player on the team.
He's had a good season.
A good season is not.
That's not an
what
MVP
the
season.
Okay, but then take care of the 65-game rule and outlaw it.
Way to
Because
sell
Jokic
it,
has
Tony.
one more game and then he's done.
Adam
He had a
Silver-
triple-double last night.
Adam Silver needs to step in here.
He's a nothing.
More than he even needs to step in on the aspiration stuff.
How about the Terry Rozier
Where
thing?
they are right now, with any of it.
How about the Terry
But
Rozier
where
thing,
he,
Zaz?
this is a space where he needs to step in and say,
He needs to go to
you know
space.
what? You know what? 65 games? Not this year. We're gonna change the rule. We're gonna figure it out. But this year, look at these guys. Look who the MVP should be. Nikola Jokic for 40 games would be more valuable than what Cade is. And that's not even a knock on Cade. Look at what Nikola Jokic is doing. Look at what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doing. And these guys missed it for injuries. Not because they were load managing, not because they were sitting out national TV games, but because they were hurt. It's crazy to me that this is a situation where he needs to intervene.
I hate to play quiz show because I hate it when people quiz me. Do you know how many MVP winners have been below the 65-game threshold in a full season?
Oh, wow. I like that question.
I can think of one.
I don't know the answer to it.
Who is that?
Bill Walton.
I wish I could think
That's
about it, but I feel attacked.
That's the answer. It's only Bill Walton. So let's just
I'm
let
so
the
smart.
voters decide. Jeremy, did you look this up before?
No, it's just something that I heard like within the last couple of weeks.
By me, probably.
Sunned you.
Could have been.
Sunned. He's an alley-oop listener.
Could have been.
So last night, San Antonio beats Detroit. They take both games this season.
Now,
series.
San Antonio, that's a good
That's a good
basketball
team.
game.
Good team.
San Antonio's a good team. All right. Victor Wembanyama, absolutely impossible.
I
to
like
guard.
him. He's good.
You think he's good?
I think he's good. He's tall.
38 points and 16 rebounds last night. San Antonio, as far as the Western Conference goes, is 2 back in the loss column of Oklahoma City. So they're totally in play for number 1 overall. I got to tell you, if it's Oklahoma City and San Antonio in a Western Conference final, and mind you, San Antonio beat them 4 out of 5 times this year, so maybe this isn't exactly a hot take. San Antonio, I think they're winning the whole thing this year, Trista.
Inject that Western Conference Finals in my veins. I need it right now. I need it the first round. I need it the second round. Just let them play 16 games, and we'll just see how it shakes out, Zaz.
Like, has that ever okay, so Wembanyama comes into the league with as much hype as anyone in the history of the league. Like, when we're talking about number 1 overall picks with the most hype, we're talking about LeBron. We're talking about Wembanyama.
Zion,
yeah.
I know Zion was huge hype. Was he on the level of those guys?
Yeah, after he broke that shoe, it was
Okay,
so good for
all right.
him.
Anthony Bennett.
So, is there anybody else? Like, I mean, did Magic have the type of hype? We're going back to 1979.
Yeah, because Magic and Bird were a thing dating back to college.
Okay, so Magic as well. And granted, Magic won in his rookie year because he had a cockamamie trade where he was drafted by a Laker team number 1 overall that was already a championship contender, and so they ended up winning the championship.
How'd they do that, by the way?
It was some trade that was made. Obviously not good foresight by the team that made the trade with them. But putting Magic aside, because it's not exactly the same scenario, because the Lakers were really good when they drafted Magic Johnson in '79. Wembanyama, if they win the championship this year, or make it next year, but whatever. This only his 3rd year in the league. If they win the championship this year, it's going to be an unprecedented fulfillment of, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? As far as expectation.
Or prophecy.
Right, prophecy. That makes it sound so much more dramatic, all right? It's a fulfillment of a prophecy.
Yeah, and you know what it does? You know that photo of Steph Curry shooting over Wembanyama? I think in retrospect, we're going to look back at that photo of that gold medal game between the U.S. and France and put that one singular image of Steph shooting over Wemby and be like, that's one of the greatest sports photos of all time. Yeah. That's like Ali.
Yeah, it doesn't even look like a real human.
Trista.
Go ahead, Dave.
Trista, the thing that I was pushing back on this side.
Technical
Jeremy, what are you
Jeremy!
doing?
Honestly,
Jeremy!
no
Jeremy, what
idea.
happened?
We're
Jeremy,
gonna fax
what'd
it
you
out.
do?
We're gonna fax it out.
Yeah.
Zaz, keep talking about prophecies.
Trissa, you were saying.
Did you see that block that led to the transition dunk from Wembanyama last night?
I'm going to say yes, but
So, I think it was
Trying to
Cade
keep it
tried to lob to, and Isaiah Stewart tried to get Wemby out of the way. The block was absolutely insane that he got that. And then he beat everyone back down the floor and had a monstrous dunk. It's everywhere on Threads or Twitter or whatever.
Light.
Kuerlel.
Well said. I think you guys are forgetting a very big piece of the Western Conference, which is a Denver Nuggets team that has a loaf of bread that is the MVP, 3 of the last 5 seasons, who has better numbers this year than any other MVP season he had previously. And he still has to say a little something in the Western Conference.
Idea that Wemby would have to go through potentially Jokic and then the Thunder just to get to the finals, like that part would be amazing, especially if somehow the 7 seed, like if they end up as the 2 seed, if somehow the 7 seed.
I mean, the first round they'd have to go through Grayson Allen.
But if it, as say the 7 seed somehow ends up being like the Warriors or something where he has to go through a legend off
Have
the
to
top.
go through Pajimski.
Name-wise, playing against Steph Curry, like it would be so cool to see that type of path for a guy like Wemby to ultimately fulfill the prophecy.
LeBron didn't win a championship till his 7th year, and it wasn't with the team that drafted him number 1 overall. For Wembanyama, if they win, like they're a championship contender right now. They could totally win the whole thing. If they win right now, in his 3rd year, he joins a team that was obviously dog shit, all right? Like they earned that number 1 overall pick. They had several years. I think they missed the playoffs 5 or 6 years in a row. They were terrible. And in year 3, with this guy who was hyped unlike almost any other player, to win the championship in his 3rd year, we've never seen anything like that.
To push back on Jeremy, the Heat believer that doesn't want a team to tank. I mean, you're also talking about Wemby. That was a massive, egregious tank. And then tank again, Steph Castle, Rookie of the Year. Tank again, Dylan Harper. Boom, 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 contender. That's how it's done.
You hearing this, Jeremy? That is how it's done. You trust a good front office to rebuild when you're in transition.
Yeah, and this one has, like, over and over again. And by the way, they're doing it again right now. They have Khalil Ware, who was a first-round pick, who's setting records last night. They have the rookie in the NBA, whose name starts with a K, who leads all rookies who've played at least 30 games in three-point field goal percentage. That's Kasparis Yakachonis, not Con Knipple. He's shooting like 44% from threes, a 19-year-old point guard.
You can't be serious. You cannot be serious. You cannot compare your rebuild to San Antonio.
Okay.
You cannot.
No, I'm not comparing it to San Antonio's, but it took San Antonio a lot longer.
You said
I'm looking at it
was better than Con Knipple?
They're going to
win the title.
The 3-ball better.
San Antonio may win the title.
58% from the ball.
He's shooting the 3-ball better.
True shooting percentage is like 70.
He's shooting the 3-ball better. That's just a fact.
I mean, you're Heat MAGA. You
watch your mouth.
You just refuse to capitulate at any corner.
No, but
just once say yeah, you know what? That other team probably had the right idea.
I just want to understand. I genuinely want to understand because I have watched.
You said manufacturing was coming back. It didn't.
I have watched this franchise for 2 decades here go from winning a championship to a few transient years where they were still right around the playoffs. The only season where they weren't was because somebody got hurt. They drafted a pretty terrible player, number 2 overall. They then went back to the finals it was bucket getter, but not a good player.
Whoa.
Then they went 4 straight years to the finals with a totally remade roster. Then they were somewhat mediocre, but they were living right around the playoffs. They could be that, and then remade their roster and got back to the finals 2 out of 5 years. And now they're in another transient period where they're going to be a playoff team. You would rather be bad for a decade for the hope of being as good as the Heat are now.
No, I'd rather be bad
It just doesn't make any sense.
I'd rather be bad for 3 years and play in for 3. I'd rather be bad for a year than play in for this year when they've got no shot.
I genuinely want to understand this. You'd rather be bad
this year.
Hold on. You'd rather be bad for 3 years for the hopes of remaking your roster to be a championship contender.
Yes.
Then be at the edge of the playoffs with a chance to watch your team win on any given night and still remake your roster to be a championship contender. Because for 20 years, that's what the Heat have been doing.
So
they have transient years, but those transient years are still competitive.
Right,
so I don't really understand.
So here's where both those teams, the team trying to lose and the Miami Heat, which on a given night you pay your money to see a ticket and, hey, they're not trying to lose. I actually see the superstars play and all that. Guess what? They both got the same amount of chance of winning the NBA title. Zip 0, stingy with De Niro.
Wow.
They're not winning. So I'd rather be the San Antonio Spurs with good ownership, a good front office. I trust them to rebuild. And guess what? They did. We're talking about them as a potential champion. I'm not even saying be bad for 3 years like San Antonio. I'm saying be bad just this year and give this front office an opportunity.
Might light your wrist, but that's about it.
Yeah. Might ice you, but that's about it.
Trista, what happened with Russell Westbrook last night?
Russell Westbrook has had enough. He has come for the media, Zaz, and went on a complete diatribe.
Do they have the worst record in the league, Sacramento?
They have the worst record in the league.
Okay.
And Russell Westbrook doesn't think that the criticism coming from the bloggers and the vloggers and the inside Sacramento Kings reporters and radio hosts, he decided to take to the podium and go directly out there.
Well, how can he think the criticism is unfair?
He says, do you know me? Do you know who I am? To say what my intention is. This was 6 minutes that we've cut down, Zaz, that I feel like is electric content. And I want to get you guys' thoughts in terms of like just the dynamic between Russ and reporters and what reporters can and cannot say.
Look, I'm a ball off me coach type of guy. Look, normally I'll take full responsibility. That was on GQ.
What, the yo-yo-yo? I thought Dave was just doing the Jay-Z thing that we were doing.
No, that yo-yo-yo was fully on GQ.
All right, let me hear Russell Westbrook last night. Let's get some of this.
You guys are quiet today, but you guys have a lot of comments when the game's going on. After the game, what we doing, what we should be doing, how we should be doing it. Yeah, but that's not the only thing you say. I've seen things you say. It's not just about our offense and our defense and what our record is. We've been the worst record for a long time now. What I don't like is that I've been in the league a long time, and I've been around a lot of different organizations, media, beat writers, and we have a lot of young guys on this team, a lot of guys that don't know what's happening or what's around, whether it's from the coaching, from the players. You guys, the job is to talk about the game, what's happening in the game, not stir up a bunch of, I don't want to cuss here because I want to get fined, but stir up a bunch of stuff that it's not accurate. You guys are making false comments about our team and what we're doing here, and I don't appreciate that. So my ask is that you respect what we do and we respect what you do.
So it sounds like he's, by the way, they lost the Pelicans last night.
Oof.
It sounds like he's saying that the media or some people have been maybe saying things are happening here in the locker room. This guy said this according to an anonymous source and all that. And so he's upset about that. But stop telling the media what their job is. Like stop pointing the finger. Your job is to do this. No, stop telling other people what their job is. 99% of professional athletes have no idea what the media's job actually is.
And I think the thing that kind of like trips me out is it is somebody's job that talks on a mic to speculate about what could be possibly going through your mind when you're doing the things that you're doing. You're not going to tell us, Russell Westbrook, so all I can do is just postulate.
Also, I've been around a lot of teams. Isn't the flex that you think it is, Russ?
Right. Correct.
And who could have seen this coming? Russell Westbrook in March complaining at the press in Sacramento as if things aren't going great. I mean, it boggles the mind how this didn't work out.
I mean, they're 14-50. Does he think it's unfair that the media is being negative surrounding his team?
He even said in that 5-minute clip, and I've been around Sacramento a long time. I've been on weekly for 5 years.
It's funny. We got here this morning. Trista says to me, she goes, "Did you see Russell Westbrook last night?" I go, Trista, that clip was 6 minutes.
And
I did not have time for that.
I watched every second, and I know the members of the media that he's talking about specifically. Yes, Tony.
That's the feeling that I had when I saw the Skip Bayless and his wife thing about Iran, where I was
you don't want to hear their thoughts on Iran?
I was like 6 minutes. I was like,
come on.
I think I'm good.
I don't know. My wife tells me 6 minutes is a really long time.
Oh, that's why you're taking her to Broadway.
For me, for the last few years, hey, did you see what Russell Westbrook did last night? The answer's been a firm no for like a good 5 years running.
Yeah, I think the thing, though, that I was, like, intrigued about is he said that the media members, some of the media members in Sacramento were anticipating some huge year, some big year out of Sacramento. And I think that part is somewhat true. Like, there's a little dilutive quality to being in a market that's been this bad for this long and had the Beam Team year.
Yeah.
They've got DeRozan, they've got Zach LaVine, they've got Sabonis, they've got Malik Monk, who they couldn't ship off to try to get coming in. They're like, we should be better than 14 wins.
Okay, so this isn't a hockey town anymore, at least for this lull here as everybody gets healthy.
But we'll be a hockey town again in a few months.
But the last time I was paying attention to the association, the Light the Beam year. Sacramento had fixed it. They made all the right moves, and it finally came together. That's a good basketball town when that team is humming, and they looked like they were set. What happened?
A lot of things. I think like the defense was never good. Mike Brown had this team like humming offensively, and then he tried to tweak a bunch of things and get them to be more of a defensive first team. Keegan Murray struck lightning in a bottle, and then he had a down year. I think there was some issues between De'Aaron Fox maybe and Sabonis. Sabonis didn't like Mike Brown. Mike Brown got fired after his extension, and so I think that has caused even more cultural chaos internally. And then you had to ship De'Aaron Fox for Zach LaVine.
You know, I think what really is on the short list of reasons why the Sacramento rise fell so quickly is because it was Sacramento. And I am not denouncing Sacramento. I've been there. Surprisingly fun little town for a night or two. As we go into NFL free agency and the trade deadline with the NHL, and like we talked about earlier, one guy got traded to Buffalo and said, I don't want to go to Buffalo. I want to go to the West Coast, somewhere warm. Where would you guys, I think that's a factor, and we get down on that. Like, what's the problem, Russell Westbrook? Like, maybe he doesn't want to be in Sacramento. Where would you go were you a free agent? Not for like, well, this team seems like it's a player away from winning the title. For more human considerations, you can include the uniform and quality of the arena and all that. Where would you go? I start with you, Trista.
Ooh.
So this is based on like all the extracurriculars, not necessarily. Hey, I think we have a good chance to win.
I think that I think we should involve that you like ownership or something along those lines. I don't think we should completely erase that, but I also don't think it just turns it into what team seems the closest to winning the title conversation. If you turn it into Mike Evans should go to Buffalo because, man, if you give him to Josh Allen with DJ Moore, man, they're the best team in the AFC. I don't mean from that perspective, just more in the global sense. Where would you want to go? What sports town would you want to reside in?
Oh, sports town is.
Are you giving us Football America leftovers?
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. It's a fun conversation. That's exactly right.
You
Dan.
reheated a turd.
You got it, fella.
All right, Trista, go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't mean to jump on that. I think maybe LA for Intuit Dome and just the beautiful like weather and being on the West Coast, the Intuit West Coast bias, yeah. Or Phoenix, great roads in Phoenix and a pretty decent arena.
Great roads? What do you mean?
Great roads, very smooth roads, always well kept.
So you're like, I'm a free agent, and what I'm really digging is Phoenix's roads.
You know about them good roads?
You know about that Biden infrastructure bill?
That's the reason at the introductory.
Dave, you've never seen the roads in Phoenix. They're incredible.
It benefited red states
the
more than
pavement
blue.
here is second to none.
The asphalt.
Tony, where are you landing?
I'm not going anywhere, baby. Right here.
You're going nowhere.
I'm going right here. I'm going to get a nice big house in
answer.
Pinecrest in Gables by the Sea. I'm going to drive my bike up down Old Cutler. I'm going to get right here at Key Biscayne. It's going to be beautiful. Right here. I don't need to go anywhere.
It's Miami.
Easily.
It's Miami or LA because the weather, the lack of media scrutiny.
Oh, not LA.
No, okay. Well,
Media scrutiny is tough in LA, though.
Yeah. Well, I guess ideologically.
You got
LA.
Sedano there.
Yeah.
Sedano's going to say something bad about me?
Yeah. No one's afraid of what Sedano's
Come on,
going to say.
How are the roads?
Roads in LA and in Miami, rough. Like always, really rough. And
but you know about that
is
smog?
Rough. I know.
Tell about it.
Do you know about geckos in mosaic form on the freeway walls? Do you know how that impacts your state of mind, Zaz?
I mean, half those words you just said, I don't know what they mean.
You know about
we
that
don't
LA
have
river?
smog in LA.
How do you have a river?
We don't have that, and we don't have sweltering heat like you do in Miami either.
Let me tell you something. If the Terminator can drive a 16-wheeler through it, it's not a river.
Touche. Also, that's where the iconic race in Greece takes place. Also, the LA River dried out. Mike Ryan is there. Would you consider legitimately? Because I would, and you can laugh if you want to, but it would be a consideration. What is the quality of the uniform that I will adore?
Right. So I would certainly prioritize that, but I think like what sport are we talking? Since this is a Football America turd that we're reheating, we're talking about football here.
No, let's do it NBA, friend.
Well,
if
okay.
it's too much to talk about our most beloved sport, go with NBA instead.
I do think tradition, market, fan base, that would matter to me. Like I know they're not a great model franchise right now, but it seems cool being a Dallas Cowboy. And you're welcome. Like if you're cut that way and you like having the media scrutiny,
the
and you
Dallas
like
Cowboy,
America's team.
I think it's cool. Like I think it's cool being a Laker. I think it's cool playing in Madison Square Garden. I think those would be really cool experiences. Like, you know, Josh Hart, tremendous player. Josh Hart's probably like, I can't believe my luck. I've been other places. I could have been in New Orleans right now, but instead, I'm doing the same stuff, but I'm doing it here in Madison Square Garden, and I become a cult hero. I would kind of prioritize in the NHL. Like, I think I want to be a Maple Leaf. I think I want to be a Hab. I think that those legacy franchises and the weight of those expectations and the fan bases around them are actually appealing. But I like the pressure, Jack.
You could make right. I hear you. Like, for instance, if you were sent to New York, some percentage of people would say, put me on the Metropolitans because less pressure. If I'm on the Yanks, if I'm wearing those pinstripes, I better win or I'm going to get booed and all of that. Zaslow, how say you? Where are you headed?
I think it'd be New York. Yeah.
New York.
You guys are a bunch of traitors.
New York.
This Miami show this week has been ridiculous.
First off,
Charlotte
don't even look
Hornets
at me.
praise as they play.
I would rather be a Hornet than a Heat.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
Joined by a very famous persona from America, and also Steve-O, because Wendy from Peru is an internet sensation. Go ahead and tell the story, Steve-O, before we get in here. And always thank you for making time for us. But tell us why it is that your dog is more famous than you are, because I didn't think it was allowed that you can just find a dog on the streets of Peru, fall in love with it, and then just bring it over to America. I thought, didn't Johnny Depp or somebody get in trouble for trying to bring an animal into the country without the proper permission? Like,
well, that was the other way around. He already had the dog and was trying to smuggle it into Australia. I was in Peru for a mountain climbing expedition, and I found Wendy here on the streets. And fortunately, the mountain climbing expedition was like a TV show, and the production jumped through all the hoops for me. So I really didn't have to do anything. And I was able to bring Wendy home. And the video I made about finding her, it garnered over 100 million views on Facebook, making it the most viewed video I've ever put on the internet. And it's kind of devastating for an attention whore like me. You know, I've like, with the lengths that I've gone to, you know? But there it is, man. So Wendy and I, we are on a rock tour as we speak, barreling towards Syracuse for a show tonight. And we've got shows every single night in the Northeast U.S., for the next 12 days, Albany tomorrow night.
This video is adorable. Is Wendy's a service animal?
She is. You bet she is. Yeah, because I have terrible issues.
You should take more dogs, though. I mean, it seems to be working for you.
I have terrible issues is a great sentence that would explain the last 25 years of your life. You've done great sort of capitalizing on, let me take a tour bus through my terrible issues.
Right. That's about right, man. I have terrible issues.
and she brings you genuine comfort she's not a professional service dog license, and you've got the proper paperwork. Steve-O is now a paperwork man with a legitimate service dog that he needs for comfort.
You know what? I'm gonna break your guy's heart right here. There's no such thing as official certification for a service animal. And because and I did the deepest dive, man. I found the best dog trainer on the planet, and they were the ones who told me, yeah, there's no such thing as official certification. You know, we can sure train her, but that's never. I got a note from my doctor. I got some little weird thing online that means nothing, which says certified service animal, but yeah, there's no such thing. You can ask a blind person with a seeing eye dog, and they'll tell you that there's no such thing.
More to the point.
So we make fun of. Yeah, we travel around and we make fun of service dog vests.
I just figure that you find genuine comfort here, and people might be surprised to learn that a man who has been so fearless in his life would admit to needing the love of a dog to temper his issues. That's real adult, grown-up introspection. One of the Jackass guys is doing.
All right. I mean, hey, I'm happy to admit that for sure. And the federal law requires that a service animal be trained to assist somebody with a disability. Although the law does not require the person to explain what the disability is. Now, when he asked me what Wendy's trained to do, she is a mobility assist dog. And what that means is she gets me where I'm going because I'm not going anywhere without her.
Nice. That's why you got 100 million views. That's because people love dogs and love the story of you just found a dog in Peru and fell in love.
Well, Steve-O, are you certain there's no one in Peru looking for their dog named Wendy? I mean,
I am. I'm very certain.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure, Steve-O.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Stugotz. So you are now touring the country. Tell me about what this portion of your life looks like. Could you have imagined 15 years ago that you'd be on a tour bus, not having to break your spleen doing something?
Well, it's bittersweet. I am on a gorgeous tour bus, and the tour I'm on is called the Bucket List Tour, and what that is sort of spleen breaking stuff. However, I shot it all for the tour ahead of time. It was stuff that I would never be allowed to do for Jackass, like having general anesthesia drugs administered through an IV while I was riding a bicycle. And, I got another medical professional I got another medical professional to put a 4-inch needle into my spine and inject a drug into my spinal cavity to paralyze me from the waist down while I was in a full sprint. I had another one where I was butt naked in an airplane and quite literally servicing myself with a guy strapped to my back. And as I fell out of the airplane, I was ejaculating, which I'm pretty proud of.
Oh, geez.
So it's a XXX rated show loaded with flagrantly illegal stuff, and I'm just tickled by it. And it's a multimedia show too. So after each bit, I screen the glorious culmination of the bit.
How hard was it to keep your mind on the task at hand?
Oh, dude, that was the most challenging thing ever, man. It was the tiniest little airplane packed full of dudes. And all I had was a little portable DVD player. It was tough.
I mean, we've never had anyone ask a creepier question in a creepier tone.
Way he asked
I don't understand.
Never needed a follow-up
the way that you sensually asked him and started a sentence with "How hard was it?"
I thought he was going to stop right there. How hard was it?
That's it. Yeah, how hard was it? Would have been for you to pull the parachute on that question. But you're like, and then you went finish the task in a way that I think you were going for sultry there.
Task at hand. It was close.
Task at hand.
Yeah, but it's pretty heavy. There are 10 different items on the list, so it's quite a loaded show. And so
are you guys doing this
to,
at hand loaded thing? Are you guys doing the word choices on purpose?
What was below you?
15,000 feet of air to the ground.
I guess my question is because that skeet had to land somewhere.
Oh, come on, man. Jesus.
That portable DVD must have gone, but it came in handy. I mean,
come on. You've got him doing it with porn? You've got him.
He did. That's what he had the DVD for.
You got him flying down with porn.
What'd you watch?
I watched, man, it was some pretty heavy
I'm sorry.
stuff.
No. Let's just keep it moving here. Oh, God. All right. Excellent. And so there it is.
Journalism.
Excellent. Well, yeah, and I just claimed he's an adult and he's learned and he's grown up. And I know. And
Just because he has a dog?
I know. And before we started here, the last time you were on with us, but I mean, he was introspective about things that sounded like therapy while we were talking beforehand, and just the admission in general that you're soothed by a dog is vulnerable in a way that I was not expecting from him.
Dog he stole from someone in Peru. I mean,
there is somebody in Peru, just with a totally different name for Wendy, who's now a star. Like there's some heartbroken family in Peru trying to explain to their 4-year-old while Steve-O gets to tour the country with that family's dog.
Coming up today on the Alley Oop, while my sister Trista flies around the world, we got a special guest today on the Alley Oop who helps us tackle some topics, including Cal State coaches getting busted for pimping across 4 states. Yes, that's a real story, man. Lock in.
Tony? Why don't you get us going here on Against the Spread?
Do you have a read?
I was going to do it at the end.
Oh, you're going to do it at the end. Okay, perfect. Well, we're going against the spread. And Jeremy, you may not like this one. I'm going to take the Charlotte Hornets -7.5 tonight. I think it's an absolute buzzsaw waiting to happen for the Miami Heat.
Did you say that because of Buzz City?
Thank you. Who have played 2 games against the Nets, who are absolutely terrible and tanking and not good whatsoever. They've gotten their confidence up. They've gotten their mojo up. They think they're going to go and play against this Hornets team in a way that they haven't been played against in a while. And they're going to get beat by 10 or more. So I'm going to take the Charlotte Hornets -7.5 against the spread.
41-22 against the spread, one of the best in the NBA.
Thank you,
Charlotte
Trista. That is a great piece of advice. And I wish we talked this out a little bit more because that was going to be my against the spread, too.
Why
Luckily,
did Tony thank Trista for what the Hornets are doing?
Because we're Hornets guys. We're Hornets guys.
Don't turn around.
And I'm pointing. We're Hornets
You're going
guys.
to see my heart breaking. I'm going to go with my backup pick, which is the Chicago Blackhawks -1.5. Tricky team name. Don't say it too slow. Chicago. I'm going to take them -1.5. It looks like Vancouver's selling at this deadline. They're already losing some players. By the way, I kind of like what the Blue Jackets are doing. Love the BJs.
Ooh.
Me too.
Ayo.
Against the spread.
Against the Spread is brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Yo, why are you laughing? I did that on purpose.
Yeah, got to turn the mic on.
Did you see today at 4 p.m. there is a very big roundtable that is taking place today.
Is that the one at MIT Sloan? I thought that was at 5:30.
There is a roundtable taking place at the White House.
Okay, all right. Explain this to me, and then Dave, I got a bone to pick with you. Because you seem to have a TiVo scoop that I don't know about. So for the audience, what are you talking about, Zaz?
There is a college sports roundtable.
Not a symposium?
Roundtable. And the people sitting at the roundtable today at the White House at 4 p.m. Eastern today, you may be aware, President Trump is going to be at the roundtable. Also at the roundtable, Ron DeSantis. That's right. He's going to be there.
So far, my kind of party.
Yep. How about the president of the New York Yankees, Randy Levine?
Wow. Dream blunt rotation.
And you got some all-time great college football coaches, Nick Saban, Urban Meyer.
All right. That's where I draw the line. I got a problem with that guy.
Mac Brown.
He's cool.
And invited as well, they haven't named the names, Power 4 commissioners athletic directors, presidents. There's some others who expect to be there. Guys like Tiger Woods are invited.
Yeah.
Adam Silver. Tim Tebow's invited.
He was invited. Dave, is he going to be there?
As far as I know, what do I know if he's going to be there?
I asked you, is Tebow going to be there?
Said he's not going to be there. It says online. What do I know his schedule?
All right.
I read online. Same
So-
as you. He's not going to be there. I don't know.
All right, well-
What do I know? I'm aware about the Tim Tebow.
You told me he wasn't going to be there because I have this whole.
thought he wasn't going to be there. I told you that. End of story.
I got one of these takes that awful announcing is going to put out if I talk about it, and it's like it revolves around Tim Tebow being there. First off, you rattled off a bunch of names. Curious, no active college athletes. They're not at this table. That tells you everything you need to know. This is about taking the power away from the people that are actively playing the sports right now, who are actually bringing in the revenue, the labor. Curious. It's a bunch of coaches. It's a bunch of commissioners. It's Bryson DeChambeau for some reason. They're all there, but, active football players aren't there. It'd be cool. Invite Jeremiah Smith. Invite anybody that is inclined to possibly unionize. I don't know how you reshape this without the labor, unless you're trying to actively cut the labor out, which seems pretty unfair. Now, the Tebow thing is interesting because given what he does with his charitable efforts and his foundation, and he just spoke to Congress, and he was really impressive. He does legitimately good work. Tim Tebow is an amazing guy. He's an amazing guy.
He really is.
Yeah.
He is the best.
I can readily admit that. Did you see what he said to Congress a couple of days ago about human trafficking?
Well, that's a main part. That's like his foundation. That's their MO. He deals with like abuse and human trafficking,
Child exploitation.
Yeah, he that dude's a real deal, man.
Real good, important work. And I can understand why Donald Trump invited him, because that lends credibility to Donald Trump, and being pictured next to Tim Tebow, who is fighting this good fight, really helps Donald Trump. Who,
by the way, I have the name wrong of the roundtable. It's not just a college sports roundtable. It's being referred to as Saving College Sports Roundtable.
Yeah, all this is yet another time that this administration reaches out to sports when their publicity is really, really bad, and they can use people normalizing them so they can grift off of strong reputations like Tim Tebow. I hope he snuffs it out and says, no, you're not going to use me here. Also, runs a little counterintuitive. For me, a champion of fighting against child exploitation and human trafficking, to line up in the same photo frame with Donald Trump, who today, in today's Epstein file dump, is accused of an underage accuser of sexual assault. And yes, you could say unsubstantiated, unverified, but it's in there. And what is verified is the at least 28 sexual assaults in his past. And what is irrefutable is there is an active cover-up here. You may say Donald Trump has nothing to do with it. Okay, that's on you. But these people aren't being brought to justice, and it runs against what Tim Tebow is fighting for. So I genuinely hope he's not in the same photo frame and not giving Donald Trump what he so severely needs at this moment, which is more normalization.
Neither is Congress, by the way, not being held accountable for their vote yesterday.
100.
That's another story for another day.
I saw that. You know what? Fucking around, bipartisan.
Keep it going.
Go ahead, Dave.
Well, I guess the silver lining here is I can't imagine that this has any practical value. Once it's finished, where does it go from there?
Right.
Is anything they decide today, whether it's a round table, a symposium, or maybe option 3, a blue ribbon panel, whatever it is, what are they going to resolve, and what value will it have to the rest of the world? Bryson DeChambeau decided this. Who cares? Right?
I also hate to be the one to just point out that women's sports has been a huge piece of what's driving the NIL growth and revenue. And these girls are huge stars like Nyjah Kennedy, who plays for Texas Tech, a college softball pitcher. And there's nobody representing women's sports on this panel either. But I think they're very pro-labor. And so if that kind of goes in line with what you're saying, Mike.
We all know what's happening here. It's the same cast of characters always that he turns to, and he gets what he wants, and nothing really gets accomplished here. But if we're just listening to those voices have been on the record for what they want, and ultimately it always means less power for the labor. And when you don't have the labor represented, when you don't have women represented, you're already telling everybody what your end game is.
True patriots.
Not left versus right, grotesquely wealthy versus the rest of it. I've been the rest of us. That's as I've been saying for a number of years. Zaslow, I'm curious, how happy were you when Tebow won the national championship with Florida? Since you're a U fan, you're a Florida graduate, but you root for the U.
Santa Fe.
I mean, don't say that again. I have a degree from a
Santa Fe.
university.
From Santa Fe.
All right. Nope. If my life depended on stepping foot right now on the campus of Santa Fe Community College, I'd be dead because I have no idea where it is. I have no idea where it is. I'd be dead. All right. It'd be really sad. How did Zaslow die? He doesn't know how to get Santa Fe. I mean, that'd be what happened. Why? Like, come on. What are we talking about here? I was very happy when Tebow won.
You were?
Yeah, it's my school. Like, I'm very proud that I went to the University of Florida, and I'm not looking forward to the day that you have Miami versus Florida in a college football playoff game. That would not be fun for me. But
Do you know what? Do you know? I suspect what I always say. People always say, "What if Pitt and Indiana ever played in the Final Four, the college football play?" Do you know? I always say it's not a decision I can make intellectually. It will be made by my heart and my gut. Is that where you come down?
Yeah, I would have I would have to just feel it, I guess, in the moment. Look, Miami's success is best for business when it comes to what I do for a living. So ultimately, like, I want Miami doing well is the most important thing. But yeah, like, I'm super proud that I went to school at University of Florida. And Tebow, I mean, man, like, obviously, knew about him from afar as a fan or as a graduate of University of Florida. I met Tim Tebow, had a conversation with him for the very first time only a few months ago, all right? He gave me and Amber Wilson a lot of time on our show, College Football Campus Tour. And I could tell you, like, the real deal, like, everything you hear about him, everything people say about him, he's all of it. Like, he just a pleasure to talk to.
My first interview on Radio Row was Tebow. And he was doing avocados from Mexico, and he brought chips and avocado, but he's keto, doesn't eat, Tebow is keto, rhymes. He doesn't eat chips. And I got him to eat a chip with me, and he hugged me, enveloped me, and my mom texted me, and she goes, "Who's that big muscly guy with the big white T-shirt? You guys have a little thang going on." And I go, "No, Mom. Me and Tim Tebow don't have a little thang going on." So I see him a couple of days later, and he's at the DirecTV party, and he goes, "So, hey, how did the video come out? Did everybody like it?" And I was like, "Yeah, it was so weird though. Like, moms, they're just crazy." She was like, you and that guy Tebow were popping off the page. You guys had a little chemistry and electricity." I was like, "That's crazy, right?" And he goes, "Moms, they always know." And I go, "What? Whoa.
Tim Tebow player?"
And I said, "Wait, so you're
Player for
saying
real?
that you're saying there actually is like some chemistry between me and you?" And he goes,
"You think?"
Absolutely. Like, don't you feel it?" And I was like, "All right, see you later."
He broke ketosis for you.
I think Tim Tebow is everything people say about him. He is truly a pillar, a man of integrity, a tremendous college football player, and that. As a Miami fan, that one stings. I saw him break my team over his knee. He is a tremendous guy.
What the hell are you talking about? Wait, you're just going to go on with praising Tim Tebow?
No, it's a setup. It's a setup to chop him down. It's a setup to chop him down.
Didn't you just hear the headline?
I
Tim
sincerely
Tebow down?
I sincerely hope he doesn't allow himself to be used in this instance, because that's what it is. And he will be going there with sincere intentions to actually help reshape what a lot of people think, and even I think it's a Wild West right now. College football absolutely needs reshaping. College athletics absolutely needs reshaping, but it needs reshaping through collective bargaining with the labor and the power. And it takes the power and the administrators to take less money. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do that whatsoever. So I hope that Tim Tebow does not get used, because he, for all the reasons that I listed before I was undercut by Dave Dameshek, is exactly the kind of guy that you go to boost your credibility.
I just don't understand what's going to come.
Well,
to this
also
meeting.
you were undercut by his absence at the symposium.
Yeah, well, if he's there, if he's not going to be there, I'm going to be pretty jacked up about it. Everybody else, I have very low expectations given the names that are there. But to answer your questions, nothing is going to come of this because anytime he tries to talk about college sports with any of the same cast of characters, it always ends up being something about the NFL kickoff rule.
So. So I know, we mentioned last night in the NBA there were some big games, big storylines, but tonight, Mike, have you seen these games tonight? Have you seen this slate of NBA action here this evening?
Yes, absolutely I have. I'm super into Heat Hornets because this has become an epic battle of wills, really.
Game of the century.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge game for Jeremy, and that's on the line.
It really is.
But
I didn't expect to be in this position, but here we are. Heat at Hornets. Biggest game of my life.
New York versus Denver. Denver's in that class of 3.5 teams. I know you're kind of still bullish on the T-Wolves, and you think they belong in that tier. But I think New York has played exceptional basketball lately. It seems as though Mike Brown navigated what was a difficult stretch where everyone was asking, hey, is Mike Brown going to be fired here? Mike Brown's good.
He stinks. I'm sorry.
Well, Mike Brown is usually good for the 1 year.
Yeah.
Beam team.
Yeah, he's good for the 1 year, and then he wears out his welcome. So this is that 1 year. And I'm into it. Like I said, I like this wide open NBA. It's a whole new world. We also have Jason Tatum coming back.
Right.
There's a lot riding on that one for me, too.
So
given how that's been positioned.
So that's the big story tonight, is Jason Tatum, 10 months after tearing his Achilles, is making his return in front of the home crowd at the Garden as they're hosting the Dallas Mavericks tonight. And the most important question, very clearly, for a Boston Celtics team that is second in the Eastern Conference, they are 41-21. Very clearly, the question that needs to be asked: Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, whose team is it? Wow. Is there going to be a schism where Jaylen Brown he's having an MVP caliber season, and now Jason Tatum returns, and Tatum has been the number one guy these past years. What if the game is close tonight? Who takes the shot at the end of the fourth quarter? This could be a problem in Boston.
Tatum is going to play like 10 minutes tonight. So I don't think we'll even get to the point.
Well, that's just tonight.
It's a long time.
I do think at this point, though, we can say that this team is just as good with Jaylen Brown as the first option.
On.
And Tatum, defensively a monster, long, athletic. Definitely one of those players who wants to play on the perimeter, though. And I think that's the biggest flaw for Tatum, is that he settles for jump shots. He settles for threes instead of putting his head down and getting to the rim, which we know Jaylen Brown has no problem bowling people over.
I think it's Derek White's team.
That's
Peyton
also
Pritchard's
true.
team.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by this. I think they're right to only play him 10 minutes, not just for his body, but also it's going to be an acclimation process, I think, for the rest of the team. Again, not a hot take when you consider the usage rate for Jason Tatum. But I know Dan's super bullish on the Boston Celtics. We obviously take them seriously, but we anticipate Jason Tatum being a big part of their playoff push, so let's see what they got.
Now, if you need advice from a former NBA player about sacrifice, maybe taking a step back, because that could be what Jason Tatum, is going to have to do, at least for this time being now. All right, just he's jumping on board. We're 60 games in. Jaylen Brown's having an incredible season. Maybe Jason Tatum's role has got to be a little bit different. Well, if you're looking for advice from a former NBA player on sacrifice, wouldn't you think that Carmelo Anthony is a guy who could probably give you really good advice on sacrificing for the betterment of the team? Would Carmelo be a guy who maybe would come to mind?
I'm not coming off the bench.
So how about Carmelo Anthony, all right? He's this is from his podcast, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. Yes, he's got a podcast, because if you don't have a podcast, you're a huge loser. And here's Carmelo Anthony. He knows all about sacrifice.
Because for so long, JT was the sacrificed everything, right? Now, JT, what are you going to sacrifice?
You mean
Right.
JB sacrificed everything?
Yeah, JB sacrificed everything. He was a sacrifice guy.
Yep.
I don't know if there's a player in the history of the NBA that I would take sacrifice advice from less than Carmelo Anthony.
I don't get the name of the podcast. Was it named that because that's what the Zoom meeting was?
Was he talking about me? JT?
No.
No?
Decidedly no.
Oh.
I'm just
That
saying.
one game's tip there.
I'm just saying, Dave, we need to keep an eye, all right? If we're going to be fair, if we're going to be impartial as media, we need to keep an eye on any potential schism there could be between Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum returning and trying to take back the reins of his team from Jaylen Brown.
Risk of schism low. I thought that actually no jive policy being applied here. I was more bullish on the Celtics until last week when our mutual pal Amin pointed out rightly that the Celts were on the cusp of getting eliminated when Jason Tatum was still healthy in the playoffs. I still think at the end of it all, they're the best team in the East right now, so they would be my pick. I'm not as concerned about the chemistry and reintegrating Jason Tatum, high-end player, into a good basketball team so much as I am, okay, reintegrate him and get back to where you were a year ago. And if you do that, is that going to be good enough? Because it was just about to not be good enough when Tatum, like I say, was healthy, when he was crossing the 10-second stripe and then ripped his Achilles.
Yeah, but they melted in the sun, Shaq. Come on. That wasn't really the best version of what we've seen from the Celtics because we've seen them win the title with that squad. And yes, they did lose Drew Holiday. And yes, they did lose Kristaps Porzingis. But they didn't really need much KP when they won the title. And they figured out ways to continue to be just as good in all of the nerd stats as they were in their title year. And this is a pretty wide open East this year.
That's what I agree. I think that's ultimately why I returned to the Celtics. I'm unimpressed by the other options. The Knickerbockers, that's who Amin's riding with? Come on.
Dave, do we have a little T versus T action today?
Oh, yeah. Listen, two opposite ends of the spectrum of masculinity here in the 21st century.
What?
Sizable Cuban, Tony.
He's right.
What the hell are we
That's
doing
right.
here?
Put that sizable Cuban. Put that in your bio.
Thank you, Dave.
The Semitic warrior in shades, Taché. Time for another
He's Cuban too.
edition
Just
of
not sensible.
I'm trying to draw distinctions,
yeah.
not similarities. I don't want to find the overlap on the Venn diagram.
Go ahead and
of
put
these
Semitic
two.
warrior
They're
in your bio.
arch-villains,
Super weak, Semitic warrior,
Beta boy.
Yeah, and don't forget Heat
minds.
MAGA.
Enough of that shit.
Hot MAGA.
All righty, here we go. Down our most popular sport. Once again, I'm going to return to pro football, and I'm going to do like we did last time. If you recall, a week ago, it was Super Bowl losing quarterbacks. Today, it is Super Bowl MVPs who were and are not quarterbacks. Non-QBs who have been named Super Bowl MVP. Tony, I'll let you make the choice. Up first or next?
I'll go second. I'll let Jeremy go first.
Okay. Classy.
Is this the same song?
Yeah.
Do I have to make a colada?
Terrell Davis.
Very good. That took way too long.
I mean,
All
yeah,
right,
like
all
he
right,
struggled with the first one. This ain't going to go for
All
him.
right, it's going to go back to him really
No,
quick.
it's not.
This Super Bowl MVP, KW3, Kenny Walker III.
I mean, come on, man. Come on, Taché. It was a couple weeks ago. Go ahead.
Oh, come on.
Yoy. Yoy and double yoy.
Yoy.
Kurt Warner.
Trista, feel free to jump in. What did he just say? What did he just say?
You're going to give Dave an
It's a
aneurysm.
callback.
You're going to give him an aneurysm.
Oh, okay. Right. That's right. It is a callback.
All right, but now Tony
I
has to
thought-
get one
I-
in order to claim the victory now, right?
I will give you
Is
one.
that really your answer, Taché?
He's got nothing. I told you he's got
I got a lot of
nothing.
stuff to juggle here.
He's got
Dave.
nothing. James White.
You like football, right?
He doesn't like
James
football.
White is not the
No,
correct
James White
answer.
didn't
James
win it.
White is
Wow.
not a
No,
good
No,
answer.
he should have won it, but he didn't win it.
Sudden death?
I know that.
Sweet Jesus.
This is a
don't know.
crappy
I
I
don't
can
know.
tell you who's not.
What?
Like if you gave me like
Okay.
is this person a Super Bowl MVP? I could say probably not.
Wait, you can name people that have not won a Super Bowl MVP?
Yeah.
That's impressive, Taché.
Yeah, I can.
Just you could start in that room.
Yep.
You can
Dan
name it. I
Marino
don't
not
think
won
you
a
have
Super
any-
Bowl MVP.
He is the Semitic warrior.
Okay, good.
And the semantic warrior.
Well, Dave, I don't think we
I'm
had a winner there.
anti-semantics.
I don't think we did either. I didn't expect to run out of gas that quickly. What a disgrace between the two of you. Mike Ryan and Zaz, do you want to pick it up where they left off and see how far you two can take it?
Troy Brown.
No.
You suck at this.
He's not.
Troy Brown.
Troy Brown didn't win Super Bowl MVP.
Wow.
Deion Branch.
Deion Branch, you confused
Deion
it too.
Branch.
Oh, I am
did.
confusing them. Yes, I am.
I won.
My boss.
This is
You guys
this is
are
pathetic.
Miami Dolphins fans, aren't you? Think about Miami Dolphins. Bob Greasy didn't get it.
Zonka.
Nobody? Larry Zonka is one answer. And, of course, Dan Marino didn't get it, but one of the great trivia questions out there is a Miami Dolphin who wore the number 13 was a Super Bowl MVP. It wasn't Dan Marino, though. It was Jake Scott. 2 interceptions in Super Bowl VII.
Brother, this is 25 years
Super
before.
Bowl
All
I
right,
was born.
7?
All right, you know what?
50
you know
years?
what?
Let's get another one. Can we get another one there?
Different category,
Yeah,
maybe?
here we go.
VII?
I mean, it's you guys, I don't know if you heard, but you haven't won a Super Bowl since that era. Shouldn't you know it? Shouldn't you hold it dear? Shouldn't it be precious to you?
No,
since
their
it's the last
mediocrity
time
has
you saw
isolated me.
Lombardi?
The spirit of 77 is the only title I acknowledge in Portland Trailblazers lore, so yes.
Well, I did prepare yesterday, and it was way too gargantuan a list for me, as it turns out. My wife, I should mention, was embarrassed. She didn't hear the show last week in which I announced I didn't know any Mariah Carey songs besides her Christmas classic. And I told my wife about that, and I said, they were giving me the business. Isn't that weird? And she said, what are you talking about? You don't know any Mariah Carey songs. Yeah, you do. And I said, I didn't know. They were playing me some. She said, that's absolutely impossible. And then she started playing me more, and I said, I really don't know any of these. I did know, though, Old Dirty Bastard. She did one with ODB, right? I did recognize that tune. I had a long list of Mariah Carey songs. We could do that one.
Wow.
I think Jeremy's got me there.
Do it.
Good for you, Tony.
Are we doing it?
I'm glad. I'm glad
There's
you
a
can't
reason,
get that one.
there's a
Tony,
reason
can you get
called
this
him
one?
what you called him, and you called me the, beta semantic warrior?
Tony, let's play NHL player or prescription drug. Here we go.
Yes, my wheelhouse.
Gostabeer. Canes winger Shane Gostabeer, or Ichthyosis vulgaris treatment Gostabeer.
Obviously, you know I'm a big Canes guy. And I don't know if you're pronouncing his name correctly. I think it's Gasta Schmier.
He made it Semitic.
Yeah.
He's from Florida. It's Shane Gostabeer. Come on, man. You're the only person in the room I would ask that question to.
He's definitely not a winger.
I'm a Canes guy.
Mike Ryan. This is a listener submitted one.
All right.
Zurzave. The Seattle Kraken 6'4" sturdy defenseman Ryan Zurzave, or postpartum depression treatment Zurzave.
Wow, I'm not really that dialed into the Kraken, but I think he's a Kraken.
No! It's a postpartum depression drug. Zurzave.
Zurzave.
You know about that postpartum?
Wow.
Truthfully?
Here's one from Amin El Hassan. He submitted this one via text. Tepeza. Clint Tepeza, fourth-line defenseman for the Chicago Blackhawks, or bulging eye treatment, Tepeza.
Bulging eye treatment?
That's right.
All right. I think that's a hockey player.
Tepeza is, in fact, the RX if your eyes are bulging out of your head. Is that a thing? Is that a...
It
I
happened to
wasn't
you and we
aware
couldn't
of this
name the
syndrome. I did-
MVPs.
Yeah.
Well, touche. Yeah, I know. If I attend a symposium about bulging eyes, maybe I'll learn about that infirmment. I didn't know it existed. Here we go, Taché. Perfetti, the first-round draft pick who's having a down year, Jet center Cole Perfetti, or atrial fibrillation treatment, Perfetti. Perfetti.
I will say the first-round draft pick who's having a down year.
Cole
Yeah!
Perfetti is
We like his
number
ceiling.
91 himself. I like his uniform.
You like their uniform?
Not too bad. I like two-tone blue. I think that looks pretty nice. Trista, last one for you. Lakembe. Canucks vet Belgian goaltender Victor Lakembe, or Alzheimer's treatment, Lakembe.
Alzheimer's treatment.
Lakembe is in fact an Alzheimer's
There
treatment.
you go.
There you go.
Yes.
Excellent.
Trista's not going to
job.
need it
was
anytime soon.
It was the Belgian part for me. I
Excellent
meant you don't
job.
see many of those in the NHL.
It's like, I don't think that's the same.
Another
There
award-winning
are
edition.
Belgians in the NHL, I think.
Trista, have you seen
Maybe not.
why is Logan Paul trying to fight NFL players?
Arrogance, trying to get headlines, which he did. It was the lead story
But it's
today.
Logan Paul, not Jake Paul, right?
But
I mean,
they're the
Logan
same.
Paul's a WWE superstar. Jake Paul's the one who's boxing.
And I think Logan's also boxing.
Well, no, he has boxed, but he's not committed to boxing anymore. He wants to fight a current NFL, he's asking for a current NFL player to step to him.
Didn't he fight Money Mayweather?
Yeah.
Did he fight Pacquiao? Or no?
No.
Did anyone fight Pacquiao that's a YouTuber?
No, I don't think so.
It sounds right, but I don't think it was Logan. But Logan has fought even more recently, I think, than the
he
Floyd
fought
Mayweather.
Jacob Fatu last week.
Who? So there's a lot of people. You and I, we're both marks, but not the dorky wrestling fans, the cool ones. And I know Logan Paul to be incredibly athletic. He's got the boxing bona fides. You know, he went the entire fight without getting knocked out by Floyd Mayweather. I know that there is a sizable difference in their stature, but Logan Paul is a really tremendous athlete. He's incredibly ripped. He knows how to box. You know, he's not an idiot when it comes to fighting.
The NHL news, it never stops. Dave Dameshek's favorite squad from Michael Russo hearing the Minnesota Wild are working toward a potential trade for Flyers forward Bobby Brink. Wonder if they're dangling David Jiricek or a prospect of that ilk.
The hell does that have to do with my favorite team? The
You hate the
Philadelphia
Wild.
Flyers are my most hated.
I know, but you hate the name Minnesota Wild, so
I
they're your
hate
team
the name
now.
Wild. I hate the team Flyers,
Yeah.
but I do like
All
their
right,
uniforms.
so I like
it's
your
very confusing.
Dave, I do like your solution for a Miami Heat player referring to themselves as a hot. What do you refer to as a if you're a Wild player?
I mean, I think that's one of the things that keeps you from going to Minnesota as a free agent is I don't want to play for a team that's named the Wild. It makes
Wild
no
Man.
sense. So
I'm a Wild
scratch
Man.
them off my list.
I'm a Wild man.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's good.
I think
a
he's back
kook.
in.
Yeah, you're back in.
Wild.
Yeah.
Kooky.
Yeah. All right. So
I do kind of like it now.
I actually do think Logan Paul can beat up in a boxing match.
I do too.
Most NFL players. And look, let's do this the fun one because
He cannot beat up most NFL players.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. All right. Most. Let's not talk about because like Trent Williams again. There are weight classes for a reason. I think Trent Williams would beat him up. I get that. There's a couple of examples. Max Crosby. I know him. He does some training. Right? He does training with Jay Glazer. Max Crosby, also 2 X's in his name. You don't want to find anybody with 2 X's in
Can you
their first
imagine
name.
Tattoos on his
he
neck.
had 3 X's in his name?
He should. He should. But let's just do this with the quarterbacks because I think this one's interesting. It's the best position in all of sports, right? The most famous. Is there a quarterback in the NFL you think can beat up Logan Paul, Dave?
Josh Allen.
No way.
Nope.
No way.
You just said weight classes. Josh Allen outweighs him by 40 pounds. He has to grab him and lean on him.
Yeah, but all right, they're of similar stature, right? I know Josh Allen is a tough son of a gun. I like watching him play, but does he know how to fight? Because Logan Paul
I'll
knows
take
how to fight.
Sebastian Janikowski to just kick him. How about
Kick
that?
his ass, Seabass.
All right, okay. If we're making this mixed martial arts, then Logan's got him totally down because he's got the wrestling base. You know,
But Janikowski can chop him with leg kicks.
he's
the
a
whole
high
time.
flyer. And Logan knows how to throw a annual. You know what you got to watch out for with Logan Paul? The wise man outside sliding him some brass knuckles.
We can continue this conversation bore the club.
DraftKings Sportsbook puts you right in the middle of basketball's biggest star-driven moments. Bet player props, bet live, and when the game turns fast, DraftKings has your back with early exit. If your player gets injured anytime in the first half, your bet stays alive, and once it settles, you still get paid in cash. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code DAN. New customers bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's code DAN in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours.